How did one cruel joke about his late father end with legal papers being handed to me in a bright office lobby? Why did my husband look so calm while I felt the whole building was watching me? What happens when the villain stops arguing and starts doing everything the legal way? My name is Ottilie Warren, but most people call me Tilly. I was 34 and I worked the front desk at a dental clinic. I handled schedules, insurance calls, and the little smiles you give when you want people to stay calm. I was good at that. I could make a room feel easy, even when it was not. At home, it was harder. Home was full of rules that nobody wrote down. Graham liked routines. He liked dinner at 6, kids in bed at 8, and quiet after. He said it helped everyone. I said it felt like a cage. That night started like a normal night. The kitchen light was too bright and the floor was cold. Lila was drawing at the table. Noah was pushing a toy truck under the chair. Graham was washing plates with his sleeves rolled up. He looked tired in a careful way, like he was trying not to show it. He asked why I was late again. I said the clinic was short-staffed. He asked why I did not text. I said my phone battery died. He asked why my jacket smelled like someone else's cologne. I said it was from a crowded elevator. I watched his face while I said it. His eyes were steady. That steady look always made me angry. It felt like he thought he was better than me just because he could stay calm. He said he wanted the truth. I said he was acting like a cop. He said he only wanted to understand. I said he wanted control. He said the kids missed me at bedtime. I said he was using the kids as a weapon. I could hear myself saying it, and I still felt right. I still think people do not understand what it is like to be the one who carries the social weight. Graham could be quiet and still be praised. I had to be bright and perfect, or people looked through me. Graham turned off the faucet and dried his hands. He asked if I could come with him to the community fundraiser this weekend. He said it mattered to him. He said it honored his dad. He said his dad had built half the parks in this city, and it was not about fame, it was about respect. That word, respect, hit me like a dare. His father had been gone for 3 years, Frank Warren. Everyone spoke about him like he was a saint, even strangers, even people who never met him. His photo sat on a shelf in the living room, smiling in a stiff suit. Sometimes I felt like I was married to that photo too. Graham said his dad would have loved seeing the kids there. He said Lila could help at the raffle table. He said Noah could wear the little volunteer shirt. He said it would be good for the family. I heard a hidden message in all of it. I heard, be a good wife. Be a good daughter-in-law. Be the kind of woman who claps for his family's story. So I did what I always did when I felt cornered. I pushed first. I said his dad's legacy was just a word people used to get donations. I said the fundraiser was a show. I said the family liked the attention more than the cause. I said Frank was not a hero. He was just a man with connections. The kitchen went quiet in a heavy way. Even Noah stopped moving his truck. Graham's face changed, but not in the way I wanted. He did not shout. He did not slam the counter. He looked like something inside him folded in on itself. He asked why I would say that. I said I was being honest. He said it was cruel. I said he was too sensitive. He said his dad's memory was not a tool for me to swing. I said he was swinging it at me first. I told myself I was defending myself. I told myself he had been emotional lately, and I had a right to push back. People always act like grief makes someone pure. I did not agree with that. Grief can be a shield. Lila looked up from her paper and asked what legacy meant. Graham paused like he was choosing his words with care. He said it meant what people leave behind, like kindness and work and love. He did not look at me when he said love. I said it also meant stories people tell to feel important. I made my voice light, almost joking, like I was teaching her something smart. Lila frowned like she did not understand why adults made simple things hard. Graham told the kids to go wash their hands for bedtime snacks. He did not say it with anger. He said it like a routine. That calm tone felt worse than yelling. Yelling would have meant I still mattered enough to pull him out of himself. He asked me to stop. I said I would stop if he stopped acting like a wounded hero. He asked if there was someone else. I laughed and asked if he was serious. I went to my phone on the counter and tapped the screen too fast. A message preview flashed from Evan. It was only a few words, but my stomach tightened. I turned the phone over like it was nothing. Graham saw the movement. He did not grab the phone. He did not demand it. He only watched, and that watchful quiet made my skin hot. He said he did not want to fight in front of the kids. I said I did not either. Then I said he was the one creating fights by questioning me. It was an easy twist. It worked on people. If you say you want peace while you push blame, you sound reasonable. After the kids went upstairs, Graham opened his calendar on his phone. I saw it for 1 second. There was a reminder with a place name and a time, like Riverside 10:30 a.m. I did not know what it was. He tilted the screen away when he noticed me looking. I felt offended, like he was hiding something. It did not matter that I had my own secrets. In my mind, my secrets were survival. His secrets were betrayal. I walked to the living room and saw new folders on the side table. They were stacked in a neat pile. One said household. One said utilities. One said bank. It looked like a small office, not a home. I asked what that was. He said it was just organizing. I said he was being dramatic. He said he was being responsible. Responsible. Another word that sounded like a judgment. I went to the bedroom and pulled at the dresser drawer where he kept important things. It did not open. I pulled again. I heard a small click, like a lock catching. My chest tightened. Since when did we have locked drawers in our house? I told myself he was trying to control me. I told myself he was punishing me for speaking my mind. I did not let myself think about why he might be locking things up. Graham walked past the doorway with a pillow and a blanket in his arms. He did not announce anything. He did not threaten anything. He just moved like a man who had already decided. I asked where he was going. He said he would sleep in the guest room tonight. I asked if he was trying to scare me. He said he was trying to stay calm. I asked if he wanted me to beg. He said he wanted rest. I followed him into the hall. I told him he was acting like a victim. I told him grief did not give him the right to police my tone. I told him he was lucky I stayed with him through his sad years. The words came out sharp, and I felt powerful for a moment. Then he looked at me in a way that did not ask for anything. He asked me to stop mocking his father. I said I did not mock him. I only told the truth. He said I knew what I did. I said he was imagining my intentions. He stepped into the guest room and set the pillow down. He did not argue. He did not chase my points. He did not try to win. He only said he needed space. I stood in the hallway and waited for him to change his mind. He did not. The guest room door closed, and I heard the latch slide into place. The sound was small, but it felt like a line being drawn. The next morning, I woke up with a tight jaw and a plan in my head. I did not feel guilty. I felt annoyed. I felt like I had been forced into being the bad one, and I did not accept that role. Graham was already up. The house smelled like toast and coffee. I saw 2 mugs on the counter, spaced apart like they did not know each other. He packed lunches in silence. He moved like a person who did not want a scene. He asked if I wanted eggs. I said I was not hungry. He asked if I could do school pickup later. I said I had a long day at work. He nodded like that answer meant something. He did not argue. That calm made me feel invisible. On the drive to the clinic, I replayed the kitchen moment again and again. I kept landing on the same thought. He pushed me first. He always acted like his father's name was a shield. He always acted like I should kneel for it. At work, I smiled so much my cheeks hurt. I checked patients in. I answered phones. I joked with the hygienists. I told myself I was the stable one. If I looked stable, then I was stable. Carmen asked if I was okay. I said I was fine, just tired. She asked if things were weird at home. I said Graham was in one of his moods. I said grief made him dramatic. I made it sound like I was patient, like I was caring for a difficult man. Around lunch, I checked my phone and saw Evan's name. My heart did that fast little jump. He asked if I wanted to meet later. I said I had a lot going on. He said I deserved a break. I said he always knew what to say. I told myself Evan understood me. Graham did not. That was the story I liked best, because it made me the victim of being unseen. It made my choices sound like medicine, not poison. When I got home, Graham had already picked up the kids. Lila's backpack was by the stairs. Noah's shoes were lined up neatly. Graham was wiping the table with slow movements. He looked like he had slept, but not well. He asked how my day was. I said it was busy. He asked if I was coming home after work tomorrow too. I said I did not know yet. He watched me like he was taking notes in his head. I hated that feeling. I asked why he slept in the guest room. He said he needed space after what I said. I said I only said it because he tried to guilt me. He said his father was not a guilt tool. I said he made it one. He asked if I could admit it was cruel. I said he was twisting it. Lila walked in while we were talking and asked if everyone was mad. Graham told her nobody was mad at her. He said adults were working something out. I said everything was fine and I made my voice sweet. I could see Lila did not believe me. Kids notice tone more than words. That night, I did what I always did when I felt judged. I reached for my people. I texted Jade and asked if she wanted to go out. She asked if it was that bad again. I said Graham was acting cold and weird. She said we should go somewhere loud and forget it. I agreed fast. I told Graham I was meeting Jade for one drink. He asked if I could stay home because the kids wanted me. I said I had been home all day. He did not correct me. He only asked what time I would be back. I said not late. I said it like I was doing him a favor. Jade picked me up and we drove to a rooftop bar downtown. The wind was sharp and the city lights looked clean and far away. I liked places like that. They made normal life feel small. Jade asked what happened this time. I said Graham was acting like a martyr. I said he hid behind his father's memory. I said he loved being the good son more than being a husband. Jade nodded hard and said he sounded impossible. Her friend group was there too. People I knew mostly from birthdays and group photos. They greeted me with wide smiles, like they were ready for entertainment. I took that as support. Someone asked why Graham was not with me. I said he did not like fun. Someone asked if he was jealous. I said he had trust issues. Someone asked if I was safe. I said yes, but I also said he could be intense. I let that word hang there. Intense is a nice word because it sounds serious, but it is still vague. I watched their faces change. I saw the sympathy start. It felt like warmth on my skin. I told the story in a way that made me sound patient. I said I tried to talk, but he shut down. I said he used his father's death to win arguments. I said he made me feel like a villain in my own house. None of it was a direct lie. It was just arranged the way I liked. Jade suggested I post something. She said people needed to see I was not the bad one. She said I should take control of the narrative. Those words sounded smart. They sounded like self-care. So I posted a story. I did not name Graham. I did not say husband. I wrote a short line about being tired of guilt and tired of being punished for speaking. I added a sad song. I made it look soft and brave. People reacted fast. Hearts, fire emojis, messages asking if I was okay. I answered a few with short replies, the kind that made them lean in more. I told myself it was harmless. Then I saw someone had shared it. I saw the little notification that it had been sent to others. That made my stomach flutter in a good way. It meant I was being heard. Jade laughed and said this would shut Graham up. I laughed too, even though something inside me pinched. I pushed the pinch away. Evan messaged again. He asked where I was. I said I was out with my sister. He said he could meet us nearby. I said, no, not tonight. I told myself that proved I had control. I told myself I was not reckless. Still, I checked the street below. I checked the elevator area. I checked my phone again. That is how I was. I wanted attention, but I wanted safety from consequences even more. Later, when we were outside on the patio, I saw a missed call with no caller ID. I stared at it for a second. Jade asked who it was. I said it was probably spam. I acted like it was nothing, but my throat tightened. I told myself it was Graham. I told myself he was trying to scare me. I told myself he wanted me to run back and beg. That thought made me feel strong, because it meant I still mattered. I did not call back. I did not text Graham either. I wanted him to sit with the feeling. I wanted him to learn that silence did not win. When I got home, the house was dark except for the small hallway light. Graham had left a plate in the fridge with a sticky note that said, "For later." His handwriting looked careful. It made me mad. It made him look like the good one. I checked my phone again and saw a message in the clinic group chat. Carmen wrote that the office manager wanted a quick word with me in the morning. My chest dipped. I told myself it was about scheduling. I told myself it was nothing. But I also knew my post had reached people faster than I expected. I walked past the guest room door. It was closed. I stood there for a moment and listened. I heard nothing. No TV, no movement, just quiet. I went to our bedroom alone, and I felt a strange thing under my confidence. It was not guilt. It was the first thin edge of fear, like a paper cut you pretend you do not have. The next morning at the clinic, I walked in like nothing happened. I wore my best calm face. I told myself I had done nothing wrong. I had shared a feeling. People share feelings every day. If Graham could not handle that, it was his problem. Carmen was already at the front desk. She looked at my eyes for half a second, like she was searching for a crack. She asked if I saw the group chat. I said yes. She asked if I was nervous. I said no. The office manager, Dr. Patel, asked me to come into her small glass office. The door closed, but I could still hear the phones ringing outside. It made the room feel like a fishbowl. Dr. Patel asked if everything was okay at home. I said yes, but my husband had been difficult lately. She asked if I had posted something about my relationship. I said I posted something general, not names, not details. She said a patient mentioned it and asked if the clinic was involved. She said our work required trust and calm. She said public drama could affect the clinic. I nodded and said I understood. I said I was sorry if anyone felt uncomfortable. I kept my tone soft. I was careful. Dr. Patel asked if I could avoid posting personal conflicts for a while. I said yes. She said she liked my work and did not want problems. I said I did not want problems either. I smiled the whole time. I acted like I was the reasonable one. When I left her office, Carmen followed me to the break room. She said the manager was serious. I said the manager was overreacting. Carmen asked if I was fighting with Graham. I said he was fighting with me. Carmen said I should be careful. I said I always was. I checked my phone and saw Evan had sent a new message. He asked if I was free after my shift. He said he missed my voice. I stared at the words longer than I should have. I told myself it was harmless. I told myself I deserved a person who saw me. I wrote back that I was busy. Then I added a smiling face, like a small door left open. That is what I did. I always left a door. The morning rush started. Patients arrived in waves. Someone complained about insurance. Someone forgot their forms. Someone wanted to move an appointment forward because they had a trip. I solved problems fast. I liked that part of my job. It made me feel useful. Around noon, Graham came in with Lila's backpack. She had left it at home, and the teacher wanted it. Graham did not walk in angry. He did not storm. He stood near the front desk and waited until I looked up. He asked if I could step aside for a second. I said I was busy. He said it would be quick. I said fine. We moved near the supply closet, where the hallway was quieter. He handed me the backpack and said he found it by the stairs. He asked if I could tell Lila I loved her before school ended. I said, of course. Then he asked, in a low voice, why I told him I worked late when I was not at the clinic. My stomach tightened. I hated that he asked like that, calm and clean. It made it hard to flip the story. I said he was checking up on me. He said he was asking a question. I said he did not trust me. He said trust needed truth. I said he was making me look bad at work. He said he only brought a backpack. I looked past him and saw Evan's car through the front window. It was parked in the lot, angled like it had just pulled in. Evan sometimes came for supply deliveries. He liked to show up without warning. He called it fun. I called it annoying when it threatened me. Graham followed my eyes for a second. He did not say Evan's name. He only asked, again, where I had been on those late nights. I felt heat rise into my face. I said he was paranoid because of his dad. He went still. He asked me not to bring his father into this. I said I did not bring him in. He did. He said his father had nothing to do with my choices. I said everything in our house was about his father. I could hear my own voice getting sharp. I did not like that I was losing control, so I reached for my best tool. I said he was scaring me with this tone, like he was building a case. I said he was acting like a stranger. I said I did not know who he was anymore. Those words were not true, but they did what I needed. They made him the threat. Graham did not react the way I wanted. He did not get louder. He did not defend himself with big emotions. He said he would not argue here. He said the kids did not need chaos. He asked me to think about what I was doing. That last line made me want to scream because it sounded like he was above me. Evan walked in 10 minutes later with a small box and a grin. He greeted me like we shared a secret. He asked how my day was. I said it was fine. He leaned close to show me an invoice, too close for a normal coworker. Carmen saw it. She raised her eyebrows at me in a warning way. I ignored her. If I admitted the warning mattered, then I would have to admit I was wrong. At lunch, the staff sat around the small table in the break room. Someone mentioned the community fundraiser again. The clinic had a local board in the lobby, and the flyer was there because Graham's father had once sponsored free dental days. People knew the name. People liked the story. A hygienist asked if I was going. I said I might. Someone joked that engineers always loved plaques. I laughed, and the laugh felt like permission. I said, in a light voice, that legacy was just a pretty word. I said people used it to get applause. I said some families made a whole personality out of one dead relative. I said it was hard to compete with a ghost. The room went quiet in a strange way. Then a few people laughed. I felt the rush again. I told myself I was brave for saying it out loud. Then I noticed one of the assistants had her phone in her hand, half lifted. She was smiling like she was catching a moment. My chest tightened. I wanted to tell her to stop, but I also liked being the center. I acted like I did not care. After lunch, Carmen pulled me aside near the sterilization room. She said I should not talk like that at work. She said phones were always recording now. I told her she was acting like an old person. I said it was just lunch talk. Carmen asked if I even heard myself. I said I did not need a tone police. She said I could lose my job. I said nobody would fire me for a joke. That afternoon, I checked my phone and saw a new message from Ben, the gym owner. He said my story from last night was spreading, and he asked if I was okay. I rolled my eyes and typed that I was fine, and people love to overreact. Then I saw another notification. Someone had replied to my story with a screen recording of it. My stomach dropped. It meant my words were no longer mine to control. When my shift ended, I walked to my car with my shoulders tight. I looked around the parking lot like I was being watched. I told myself I was just tired. I told myself I was still winning. But when I got into the driver's seat, my hand shook a little on the wheel, and I hated myself for that. I whispered that Graham was doing this to me. I said it out loud because it made the fear feel like anger instead. The restaurant smelled like garlic and warm bread, and the table was too long for comfort. It was one of those places where families went to look normal. White tablecloth, loud smiles, people talking over each other. Graham's mother, Marjorie, always picked it because it felt proper. I showed up 10 minutes late on purpose. I told Graham I was stuck in traffic. He said, okay. He did not ask more. That calm made me feel like I did not have power, so I decided I would take it back in front of everyone. Marjorie hugged the kids first. She asked Lila about school. Lila said she had a spelling test. She asked Noah about his toy. Noah showed her a little car. Marjorie did not ask me about my day. That felt like a quiet insult. Tessa was already there too, sitting close to Marjorie like a guard. She looked at me and then looked away. That was her style. She did not yell. She judged. Graham sat beside me, but he left a small space between our chairs. It was subtle. Other people might not notice. I noticed. I told myself he was doing it to shame me. Marjorie asked Graham about the fundraiser. She said the community hall was almost ready. She said the raffle baskets looked great. She said Frank would have been proud. She said it like she was talking to a priest, not her own son. Graham nodded and said he hoped it went smoothly. He asked her how she was feeling this week. She said she was okay. Tessa added that the old photos had been hard to sort. Marjorie said she was glad they kept the tradition. No one asked me if I wanted to help. No one asked if I was okay. It felt like they had already put me outside the circle. So I spoke first. I said it was interesting how everything always came back to Frank. I said it was like we were still living in his shadow. I said it must be nice to be remembered that way. I made my tone light, almost playful, like I was making a friendly point. Marjorie froze for half a second. Tessa's eyes sharpened. Graham's hand stopped moving with his fork. Graham asked me to keep it respectful. I said I was being respectful. He said the dinner was not the place. I said it was a family dinner. So it was the place. Tessa asked what I meant. I said I meant the truth. I said it was hard to be married to a man who measured everything against his father. I said it was hard to compete with a ghost. I said that word again because it sounded clever. Marjorie said Frank was not a ghost, he was family. She said it softly, but her voice shook. That shake should have made me stop. It did not. It made me feel like I had hit the target. I said some families used a dead man's name like a badge. I said it brought praise, donations, and free passes. I said it made it easy for Graham to look like the good one, even when he was cold at home. Graham asked what cold meant. I said he knew. I said he watched me like I was a suspect. I said he asked questions like a lawyer. I said he was trying to control my tone, my time, my phone. Graham said he only asked because my stories did not match. I said he was twisting things. He said he wanted honesty. I said he wanted power. Marjorie asked if we could stop and focus on the kids. I said of course I loved the kids. Then I said in the same breath that I was the one doing most of the emotional work in the house. I said Graham did not notice me unless he was suspicious. That was not true, but it sounded true if you said it with a tired face. Tessa said I needed to stop making myself the victim. I said I was not a victim. I was just tired of being blamed. She said nobody blamed me for Frank's death. I said they blamed me for not worshipping him. Graham leaned closer and asked me quietly to please stop. I said I would stop if he stopped acting like a saint. I could see people at nearby tables glance over. That gave me energy. A public moment always did. If strangers watched, then I could perform. If I performed, I could control the story. I said Graham's family liked to paint him as the gentle hero. I said they ignored how he shut down at home. I said he used silence to punish. I said he made me feel alone while still living in the same house. Graham said he was not punishing me. He was trying to keep peace. I said peace was just another word for control. Marjorie's face went pale. She said Frank was a good man, and he would have wanted kindness in this family. She said she would not sit and hear Frank insulted. Tessa told me my words were disgusting. She did not use a bad word, but her voice said it anyway. I looked at Graham and waited for him to defend me. Part of me wanted him to, because it would prove he still needed me. Another part of me wanted him not to, because then I could say he never defended me. Graham did not defend me. He did not attack me either. He simply said he would not argue at the table. He said the kids were here. He said we could talk later, privately. That felt like a slap. I laughed once and said he always hid behind the kids when he did not want to face me. I said he used them like a shield. Graham's jaw tightened, but he kept his voice even. Lila stared at her plate. Noah swung his legs under the chair. He started to hum to himself, like he was trying to block the sound. Marjorie reached for Lila's hand and asked her about her drawing. Lila answered in a small voice. She said she drew the playground. Marjorie smiled, but her eyes looked wet. My chest tightened for a second. I told myself it was because Marjorie was manipulating the room with tears. That was easier than admitting I had crossed a line. The waiter came with food. Everyone tried to pretend we were fine. Plates clinked, water glasses filled. The noise covered the tension, but it did not remove it. Graham asked Noah if he liked his pasta. Noah said yes. Graham asked Lila if she wanted extra bread. She said no. He kept his attention on them like he was building a wall. I hated that wall because I could not climb it. Tessa leaned toward Graham and asked if he had someone to help with fundraiser setup on Friday. He said yes, he had it handled. When he said it, his phone buzzed once. He looked at it and turned it face down. I saw only a little icon, like a contact saved as an emoji. It made my stomach twist. I asked who was texting him. He said it was nothing I needed to worry about. He did not say it in a mean way. He said it like a boundary. I heard the sentence and felt panic, then I turned it into anger. I said it was funny how he suddenly had secrets too. I said he must be enjoying that. He said he was not enjoying anything. He said he was trying to keep things stable for the kids. Marjorie asked if Graham could bring the kids by on Saturday morning, just for a quiet breakfast. Graham said yes, if it worked with schedules. Marjorie looked at me and asked if I was okay with that. I said sure, but I said it like I was granting permission. I wanted everyone to see I was still in charge. Tessa said it might be good for the kids to have calm adults around them. The way she said it felt like she did not count me as calm. I felt heat rise in my face again. I said the kids already had calm. They had me. Tessa's mouth tightened. Graham's eyes flicked toward Lila, like he was checking if she heard. Lila looked up at Graham and asked, quietly, if Grandpa Frank was good or bad. The question cut through everything. The table went still. Graham swallowed, then answered in the gentlest voice. He said Grandpa Frank was good. He said he loved Graham, and he would have loved Lila and Noah so much. He said adults should not use dead people to hurt each other. He did not look at me when he said it, but I felt it land on me anyway. I wanted to say something smart. I wanted to save face. Instead, I said Lila was overthinking and should eat her food. My voice came out too sharp. After dinner, we walked out to the parking lot. The air was cold. The kids ran a few steps ahead. Marjorie hugged them again. She did not hug me. Tessa told Graham she would see him at the fundraiser setup. Graham nodded. He did not promise anything else. He did not explain anything. He did not chase anyone's approval. I stood by my car and waited for him to finally brake. I wanted a big reaction. I wanted proof he was still mine to move. Graham buckled the kids into his car with steady hands. He checked the straps twice. He closed the doors gently. Then he looked at me and said we would only talk about the kids tonight. He said he would not fight. He got into the driver's seat and drove away, calm as a clean line on paper. I watched the taillights disappear, and for the first time, I did not feel powerful. I felt like I had screamed into a room, and the room had decided to go quiet without me. The week after the restaurant dinner, the house felt like a hotel we both had to share. The air was normal, but the rules were different. Graham moved around me like I was furniture. He was not cruel. That was the problem. Cruel would have made it simple. In the mornings, he made the kids breakfast and did not ask for my help. He packed lunches with neat hands. He wiped the counter after. He left nothing for me to complain about. Even the dishwasher was loaded like a diagram. I told myself he was doing it to prove a point. I told myself he wanted me to feel useless. I said that to Jade, and Jade agreed fast, like always. She said I should not let him win. She said men use silence as control. I liked that idea because it made me the victim again. At the same time, I noticed small changes I could not explain away. There were 2 mugs on opposite sides of the counter now. Not by accident, by design. His toothbrush moved to the guest bathroom. The guest bed looked slightly disturbed most mornings, like he did not sleep well but still refused to come back. One night, I walked into the hallway and heard a soft hum, like a shredder running for just a few seconds. It stopped the moment my foot hit the creaky board. I stood there and listened again. Nothing. I told myself he was being dramatic. I told myself he was shredding junk mail to make me nervous. Still, my chest felt tight. Graham started putting his phone face down whenever I entered a room. He never used to do that. He also stopped asking where I was going. That should have made me happy. It did not. It made me feel like my tricks were useless. I tried to pull him back into the old dance. I tried to be sweet first. One evening in the kitchen, I asked if he wanted to watch a show with me after the kids slept. He said he had work to finish. I asked if he wanted me to make tea. He said no, he was fine. I asked if he wanted to talk about what happened. He said he only wanted to discuss schedules for the kids. He asked what time I could do school pickup on Thursday. I said I had work. He asked if I could do Friday instead. I said maybe. He said okay and typed something into his phone. He did not argue. He did not sigh. He just wrote it down. I hated how organized it looked, like he was building a new life without needing my mood. So I switched tactics. I said he was being cold and punishing me. He said he was setting boundaries. I said boundaries were just another word for revenge. He said boundaries were for safety. I said he was hurting the kids by acting like this. He said the kids needed calm more than noise. He said it like a fact, not like a speech. That made it worse. The next day at the supermarket, I found a moment to perform. Graham and I ended up there at the same time because we both needed groceries. It was not planned. That was another new thing. We used to plan together. Now we just collided like strangers. The checkout line was long. People were tired. The cashier was young and cheerful, asking everyone how their day was. When it was our turn, the cashier smiled at us like we were a normal couple. I smiled back and said, loud enough for the line to hear, that I basically lived alone these days. I said it with a little laugh, like it was a joke. I wanted the cashier's face to change. I wanted Graham to blush. I wanted him to feel small. The cashier made an awkward smile. A man behind us looked away. Graham did not react. He paid for the groceries he picked, and then he stepped to the side and let me pay for mine. He did not correct me. He did not defend himself. He did not argue. I walked out with my bags feeling angry instead of satisfied. I wanted a fight and got nothing. It felt like punching a wall made of air. That night, I messaged Evan. I told him Graham was acting strange. I told Evan it was like living with a stranger. Evan replied that I should come out and breathe. He said I needed fun. He said I deserved someone who chased me. I told myself I did not need chasing. I told myself I was choosing freedom. Still, my fingers hovered on the keyboard longer than they should have. I did not meet Evan that night. Not because I suddenly grew morals, but because the consequences felt closer. My manager at the clinic was watching. Carmen was watching. And Graham, in his quiet way, was watching too. When I came home, I smelled faint toner in the hallway, like someone had used the printer. Our printer was in the small desk nook near the guest room. I walked past it and saw a blank page sitting in the tray. Blank. Like a mistake. I picked it up and stared at it like it could explain itself. I told myself he printed something and pulled it too fast, leaving this behind. I told myself it was probably for the fundraiser. Then I saw a sticky note on the desk that said, "Bring forms." Forms for what? I opened the desk drawer. It slid, then stopped, like something inside was blocking it. I pushed again. It did not move. The lock clicked softly, almost polite. I felt insulted, like I was being treated as a risk. I also felt scared, because maybe I was. Later, while Graham helped Noah brush his teeth, his phone alarm went off in the kitchen. It was not loud, just a short chime. The label flashed for a second. Paper drop. Then it vanished. Graham picked up the phone and turned it face down again. When he came back into the living room, I asked what paper drop meant. He said it was a reminder. I asked a reminder for what? He said personal errands. I asked if he was hiding something. He said he was protecting what needed to be protected. I laughed and said he sounded like a spy. He did not smile. He asked me to stop making jokes. He said jokes had become my weapon. That sentence hit me. It made me want to twist it, so I did. I said he was accusing me again. I said he was always accusing me. I said he wanted me to feel small. I said he had been like this since his dad died. I said grief turned him into a control freak. Graham's eyes changed, not to rage, to something colder and clearer. He took a slow breath and looked past me toward the kids' hallway, like he was choosing the safe path again. He said we were done talking about his father. He said the kids were asleep, and he would not raise his voice. He said he would not argue in circles anymore. I stepped closer and asked if he was leaving me. He said he was not discussing that with me in the kitchen. I asked if he had someone else. He said no. I asked if he was trying to scare me. He said no, he was trying to handle things the right way. I told him he was bluffing. I told him he was too gentle to do anything real. I told him he needed me, and this quiet act would break soon. He did not flinch. He said, very simply, that he would handle it properly. He did not add threats. He did not add insults. He just said it like a final line. Then there was a knock at the front door, soft but firm, and my stomach dropped, even though I did not know why. The next morning, I walked into the office tower lobby like I owned the day. I held my coffee like a shield. I told myself the knock last night was nothing. I told myself Graham was just trying to scare me with words like properly. The lobby was bright and echoing. People in badges moved fast. I saw 2 co-workers from the clinic near the elevators. Carmen was there too, holding her tote bag. She looked at me like she already knew something. A man in a plain jacket stepped toward me and asked if my name was Attilly Warren. I said yes. He asked me to confirm my address. I said I did not have to tell him anything. He said he was serving legal documents and needed to confirm identity. He kept his voice calm and professional. I felt my face heat up because other people could hear. He held out a packet and said I had been served. I asked what it was. He said it was a divorce filing with temporary orders. The words felt unreal, like a movie line, but my hand still took the papers. I turned and saw Graham near the glass doors, not close enough to look like a scene, but close enough to be real. He did not smile. He did not glare. He looked clean and tired, like he had slept in a different life. I walked toward him and asked what he thought he was doing. He said he was handling it properly. I told him he was humiliating me. He said he was not here to talk about feelings. I said we could talk in private. He said we would communicate in writing, and only about the kids. I flipped through the first page. I saw a temporary parenting schedule with pickup times and drop-off points. I saw a rule about no posts, no public shaming, and no dragging the kids into adult issues. I saw a line about household accounts and bill payments being routed through a set plan. I saw dates and instructions that started now. My throat went dry. I asked how he could do this over one argument. He said it was not one argument. I said he was making me look crazy. He said he was keeping records and choosing peace. I said he was cold. He said he was done being a target. Carmen stepped into the elevator without speaking. My manager stared at the papers in my hand and asked me to come inside. I looked down again and saw the line that said any public posts could be used against me. I heard my own voice shake when I said his father was still controlling everything. Graham said his father was not controlling this, my choices were. Then the elevator doors closed, and I stood in the lobby with the packet in my hands, while everyone acted like the air had changed.